So this is a very quick video to run through Photoshop's new AI-based tools, and rather than just talking about them, actually just showcasing how they could actually be used in a real-world environment. So for this example, I'm going to talk about trying to get a photo which is maybe the incorrect size to fit into a nice social media frame like this. So by this, what I mean is, let's say we start with this. This is just an image I got off Google from London. So, if I wanted to fit this kind of very wide landscape image into this tiny square social media frame, say this is like the only thing a client has given me, this is what I've got to work with. You could obviously take this and position it very nicely like that. Yeah, it looks good. But what if they wanted to have the entire frame in there like this? But obviously, we now have these big spaces above and below this. This is a very common problem, and there are multiple ways that you would have done this. So, maybe if you were trying to rush this, what you would do is fill in these gaps with just the regular content aware tool. So this is when, traditionally it would try to fill in these spaces. Now what you find is, you end up with very rough visuals coming in here, and you would then have to come through, you would have to, manually try and fix these up, and it becomes completely messy. Yeah, it works well for the sky. There's some looping stuff, but yeah, that's not ideal. So what we can do is we can actually get around this using Photoshop's new generative AI tools, where it will essentially try to fill in the space itself. So what I would do if I wanted to get this out quickly is I'd do my adjustments, I'd rotate the image, get it in place, that's looking pretty good. I'd kind of extend the frame a little bit, and I'm going to do this one bit at a time. So let's start with the floor down here. So we have this Generative Fill button, and this gives you a space where you can type in a prompt if you want. So, you could type in something like colourful path, and it would fill it in with that. But I'm going to leave it blank and let it guess what it wants to do based on the surroundings. Okay, there we go. So that's not perfect, but it's a much better starting point than what we had before. So I'm going to leave it there for a second, and whilst we wait, we're just going to fill in the sky as well with the generative fill. Okay, there we go. So that's a pretty good starting point. What I would next do is I'm just going to be bad. I'm going to merge these together and get rid of them. I would probably go in manually and touch up some details that I'm not quite happy with. Like, for example, this up here, I think I would just like the building to end where it is. I'm happy with that sky for now. And then down here, I'm going to try the generative fill one more time on this stone pathway. And we're going to type brick path. Let's just see what happens. Okay, so the perspective's a little off. Now, what I didn't mention is that you can actually switch between a few different options it gives you. So that gives you 3 by default. And probably easier if we zoom out and have a look through these. So actually, they're all pretty good. They're not bad. The perspective, it kind of looks like it's zooming in a bit too much there, but that's not bad. I'm going to go for this one for now, because I'm not as precious about this. So let's take this as we've got it, and we'll chuck it back into our frame here. What I'm going to do is convert this to a smart object so that I can go in afterwards and make edits to it without adjusting the frame. So we're mostly going to use the sky there, but we have a little bit of our pathway at the bottom. Okay, so already we're off to a good start here. Now, you can also use this for something, a little bit more creative editing. So what I want to do is I want to take this, and I'm going to put a signpost in the foreground. So the signpost I'm going to use is this one here. The colours are completely off, but let's see what we can do with this. So we're going to select subject, see if it can work out how to grab that sign. Okay, it seems to have it okay. And we're going to add this sign onto a new layer here. I don't know, we'll put a hazard in the road that they're trying to avoid. I'm going to change the sign around afterwards. So they are going to be avoiding a sleeping cow that's on the path. You know what? That's not bad. I'm going to do it one more time, but bigger. Okay. That's definitely the right size. Let's pick. That looks pretty realistic. Okay. Why not? That will do. Look at that. Okay, we have a beautiful, beautiful scene here now. And just to give one last example of how this can be used. Now, this isn't going to do it perfectly, but again, it's another image from the same selection in London. It can go really, you can go really far with this into what it can fill in. So, you know, we're completely missing the bottom half of this image, but using this tool, I don't think it's going to do it perfectly, but okay, so let's have a look at some options. So you can see it's trying to fill in the bikes. It's not, oh, hello. That's not bad at all, is it? That is not bad at all, actually. So I think it depends what you're using it for. This is what I mean. It's not a perfect tool. It's only good if you're happy to kind of guide it a little bit. But it does work very well for, you know, doing some quick touch-ups, filling in those details, editing those photos, and it can be a very useful tool in a real-life scenario when you're designing for a client. So definitely give it a go, play around with it. And if you have any questions about it, please do let me know in the comments. Cool, look at that.